boy Ross from Arturus fan club. I got weird noises. Weird noises being made here. Hopefully all this new crap I've added to the stream works. I've added a bunch of really cool new stuff, and I'm hoping it doesn't fail on me. I've been hearing random noises, like just for a second, just like a so don't know what that's all about. We shall press on. What's up, guys? How we doing tonight? No football on tonight. Figured I'd hop on the stream and we could talk some Bulls, answer some questions, and talk about the final 15-man roster, which is... I was going to just record a video about the final 15-man roster, and I'm like, nah, let's just go live. Let's just talk about it live. Like Bill O'Reilly once said, do it live. For those of you who know that reference. What's up, guys? Donovan, I appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you so much. Just getting the stream ready to go here. What's up, Harry? How we doing? Harry Cat's great name. James Ennis. So, you know, it's interesting looking at how the Bulls have structured their training camp invites. They still could invite a couple other players. They're at 18. They can go up to 20. But it, from all intents and purposes, seems like they're just going to roll with the guys they got. That could change at any moment. But yeah, I mean, I think the 15-man roster is already here. I think the guys that'll make it are already in the building. And I have a cool graphic from my dude All Around Designs that I'll pull up here in a minute. And we'll kind of manipulate it and mess with it. How do you guys like the new overlay, by the way? How's that looking? Is it working? Does it look okay? Make sure that works properly. I noticed that the Bulls haven't announced Derrick Jones Jr. number unless they did. That's actually a good question. Let's go to their Twitter and see if they have anything on there. That's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. Because I remember they did the jersey announcements for our boys, the new signings. I don't know if they announced the trade. Yeah, I don't see a number announcement. That's interesting. Thank you guys for the love. I think the overlay looks great. Made by my boy Albator. You guys see him on Twitter, I'm sure. He manages the Chicago Bulls subreddit. You hear that? Quick little... That wasn't just me, right? Oh, is my alert box broken? Alert box is working. I don't know, but let's get into what I titled the video. Let's talk about the 15-man roster, and then I'll get into some questions. So save your questions. We'll get into them for sure. I'm excited to get to those. But I wanted to start with the 15-man roster. What's up, Jeffrey? All right, so yeah, Alba's the GOAT. So let's get you over. I hope this works. Okay, it works. Okay, cool. We are over at the desktop cam, and as you see, we have our roster. Top to bottom, everybody is here. This is everyone who has an invite or is already on the team. Your boy Davey. Wake up, babe. New Arturus fan club stream. Oh, we'll get into Celtics fans. Trust me, we'll get into Celtics fans. Okay, so I mean, this will actually be kind of brief. This won't take super long to get through because I already have a pretty good idea of what I think is going to happen here. So as you guys know, the Bulls can only carry 15 players. That's NBA standard. You can only have 15 players on your roster. These are all of the players who are either on the roster or have training camp invites. So there should be, my math is right here, 18 guys here. 5, 6, 17, 18, 19. Am I off by one? Either way, these are the guys. These are all the guys. And now I'm actually looking at DeMar DeRozan, and I feel like he should be on this next row. And I'll tell you why. After I want to fix the whatever. It actually looks kind of cool. DeMar DeRozan is on that row because he is on a 2-way contract. Oh, that's David. Oh, okay. Very confused, David. You had me quite confused. So DeMar DeRozan's on a 2-way contract, which means that his contract is technically, you know, he's a G Leaguer. He can only spend a certain number of days with the Bulls in the NBA, but he will spend a majority of the season in the G League. So I wouldn't put him with the rostered guys proper. Like Ayo Dosunmu is on the roster, but he still might get. He could still end up being called down to the G League. Javonte Green's on the roster. Stanley Johnson's on the roster. Marko Simonovic is on the roster. Now, Alize Johnson is technically on the roster, but he's on a non-guaranteed contract. And the same can be said for Stanley Johnson. So those two guys could get cut. I don't see it happening particularly. So here, let me show you what I think is going to end up shaking out. So Tyler Cook is going to go down here. Ethan Thompson is going to go down here. Guys up. And then Matt Thomas is going to go down here. Because these three guys are going to be competing for that final 2-way roster slot alongside DeMar DeRozan. We have one more 2-way roster slot open. And that is what these three guys, Matt Thomas, Ethan Thompson, and Tyler Cook, will be competing for. So after you go ahead, see, like, this is actually pretty easy. Let's move DeMar DeRozan down because he's on that 2-way as well. Then if I can select all the right guys here. Ayo, Javonte, Stan, and Marco. You guys slide over. Let's count them up here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's your 15-man roster. See? It, like, just like that. It's actually not that complicated. What I think is going to happen the rest of the way here. Now, you can start asking questions like, okay, well, is Stanley Johnson actually going to make the final roster? Hey, what's up, Alba? First time using the new overlay. I'm still working out some of the kinks, but I think it looks really good. You can start asking, okay, is Stanley Johnson actually going to make the team? Bro, why? Y'all hearing that, right? I know I'm not just hearing things. For some reason, I keep getting a little nugget of a soundbite. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's freaking me out. We'll figure that out, though. Like I said, working out the kinks. Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson is not guaranteed a roster spot. So say one of these three guys down here, Tyler Cook, Ethan Thompson, Matt Thomas, shows out big time. Who knows, man? Like maybe Tyler Cook, who's been, you know, he's been around, been in the league. Maybe Tyler Cook slides into one of those spots. You never know, right? Ethan Thompson has a harder road to the path of making the roster. I would argue Matt Thomas the same. I think what will end up happening, honestly, Ethan Thompson didn't show me a whole lot in Summer League. I think Matt Thomas ends up as our second 2-way player. I think you have DeMar DeRozan and Matt Thomas as our 2-way slots, and I'm gonna let Stanley Johnson off the hook. I'm gonna put him back up. He's gonna make the roster. What's up, Logan? How we doing tonight? Logan wants James Ennis. Maybe. Potentially. We out here. What happened to Troy Baxter? Troy Baxter is no longer with the Bulls. He was not invited to training camp, unfortunately, and that is just how things go. Someone redeemed Hydrate. We are hydrating tonight. I took a nice long walk right before I started the stream. The blood flowing. Felt really good. So I'm feeling good about that. Talk about Patrick Williams. Let's talk about him. Patrick Williams is going to make the roster. Hot take. Well, you know what? All right. So I think we've kind of gotten this down, right? Like, this is easy. This is the final roster. This is what I think it'll end up looking like. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions on this before I move off of it? Or do you guys want to get to questions? You let me know. Alba thinks that Patrick Williams will end up being the best player overall on the roster. Now that's a hot take. That's a real hot take. All right, no more questions about the final 15-man roster, which means I can open it up. Let's open it up. Send me your questions, guys. Let's hear it. I wanna know what you guys are thinking right now. The Blas says, let's just stop for a moment and express the joy of no more Cristiano Felicio. Yeah. Cristiano Felicio is not on this graphic. Yeah, Ninja, I'm not sure about the number. That I'm not sure of. Yeah. I feel like I saw a graphic. Now, you know, a graphic doesn't mean for sure that's his number, but I feel like I saw a graphic with him wearing a jersey and it had a number on it. Pardon me while I eat some string cheese. I eat like a heathen, though. I just bite right into it. I do not have NBA 2K22, Logan. I don't know if I'm going to. I've heard good things, but I play on PC, and the problem with that, they don't give you next gen, which is ridiculous, but conversation for a different day. I would buy 2K22 if it was next gen for PC. Yeah. Sorry if I missed your question. Feel free to ask it again or do a super chat. I'll definitely see it that way. Eli Maxwell. Does our team have above or below average spacing? I think Zach LaVine on his own gives you above average spacing. You know what? I'm going to say above average spacing for the starting unit for sure. Because DeMar DeRozan is the only player who is not an elite three-point shooter. Well, Pat has a ways to go to become elite, I suppose. But my argument there is that DeMar DeRozan is going to be the primary ball handler, facilitator. And here's a stat for you. So Lonzo Ball is top 10 in catch and shoot threes last season. DeMar DeRozan was the best at driving the basketball, or the highest drive rate for any non-guard in the NBA. So we're talking about two players that complement each other's strengths so perfectly. And obviously, we already know how good of a shooter Zach LaVine is. We already know how good of a shooter Nikola Vucevic is. We see the potential of Patrick Williams, and there's your starting five. So that's pretty above average, I would argue. John Wall will be traded. Will he be traded to the Bulls? Nah, man. We're good on that. Don't need him. Don't want him. Future of Kobe White. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one. We've talked about Kobe White being like in the mold of a Lou Williams type of player. That's the peak. That's best case scenario. As of right now, best case scenario for Kobe, coming off the bench, being a spark plug, kind of like what he was doing his rookie season. The future, he needs to learn how to play defense. If he's not going to be a primary ball handler, if he's going to be more of a 2, the dude needs to play some defense. Like, he's not good on that end. And if he's going to be so one-dimensional that he's just a 3-point guy, you're going to have to be really, really good as a 3-point guy to get away with doing not much else. So he's kind of at a crossroads in his career, I would say. Like, what does he want to focus up on? Does he want to become a point guard, or does he want to refine those guard skills and stay as more of a 2? It's up to him, man. Got to figure that out. I'm sure the team is, involved in that decision-making process as well, but at this point, he's not integral. He's not a part of the core. Kobe White's not a part of the core anymore. Are you nervous that Zach signed with Clutch Sports? I'm not, and I just released a video about it. You guys should definitely go check out my latest video about Zach LaVine and why I think he is not going anywhere anytime soon. If you had to trade Kobe White for a package, what would you look for? Someone mentioned Cam Reddish. I like Cam Reddish. I think for Kobe, you're gonna want a decent player and a first-round pick. A decent enough rotational player and a first-round pick. Because when you're trading a player like Kobe White, you are trading a little bit of potential there. And I think that's where the pick comes in. Jaren Jackson Jr. Yeah, no, I mean, Cam Reddish is maybe more on the level of what I'm thinking. And you would definitely want to go forward. Position forward. Because going guard again would just be a little redundant. Now, with all that said, guys, I think that Alex Caruso and Kobe White could be one of the best bench backcourts in the entire NBA. They complement each other's skills so well. Alex Caruso is such a good defender. Kobe White obviously is a really good shooter and has some experience now facilitating an offense. So I would, before we hop off the Kobe White train, I want to see how it works with Caruso coming off the bench. But I do love Kobe White. I like, as a person, I think he's a really cool dude. I'd love to see him succeed. If you had to choose the best NBA schedule video, non-biased, who would it be? The Chicago Bulls. Non-biased. It's unbiased. Who's the coolest? NBA Paint? When is he supposed to be available to play for Kobe? Well, originally, the timeline was like into the season, but recently we've seen him working out, so we'll see. Jokic to the Bulls. Yeah, so that's a video that I feel like I should make pretty soon, Jerry. Bringing up some interesting points here, because the way that the Bulls have structured the championship window here, it's actually 2 windows, and it's gonna morph as we go further into the future, because the goal of AK and Mark Eversley is to win titles, right? So they are always looking 4 seasons ahead, 5 seasons ahead, at what's changing, who's going to be available, what kind of players are going to be available, how we can get out of contracts, yada, yada, yada. So the timeline right now, the championship timeline, is 2023, up until 2023. 2023, Nikola Vucevic is off the books. DeMar DeRozan has an expiring contract, easier to trade, and Nikola Jokic is an unrestricted free agent. So that's when championship timeline number 2 opens up. There's other players that'll be free agents that offseason too, but the idea there is, okay, if there is a top level superstar who wants to come to Chicago, you can get out of Vucevic's you're out of Vucevic's contract. You can get out of DeMar DeRozan's contract, and you have the flexibility there with Zach LaVine on a max, which will only get will only look better as the cap rises year after year. Same thing with Lonzo. Those contracts will only look better year after year. And then you have the ability to re-sign Patrick Williams. So that's the second championship window. What did I miss? Yeah, AK and Mark are not afraid to make changes when they see fit. No matter who it is. Video idea, what happens if the Bulls hired Wes Unseld Jr.? I mean, I don't think anything that different of what already happened. Do you think that last season would have been dramatically different? I love you too. What team did Mark Eversley come from? So he was with the 76ers, and before that was with the Toronto Raptors, and before that he worked for Nike, and he was in player relations, but most recently was with the 76ers. Caruso will help out Kobe and the entire Chicago Bulls organization tremendously. Absolutely. Caruso, just cannot, enough cannot be said about his defense, man. Oh, did I miss? Who's our scouts? I don't have any names off the top of my head, but it would be nice to get to know them a little better. I mean, AK is like legit a scout. Like AK has worked in scouting departments. He's been head scout. Like that dude scouts. That's part of his job is scouting. But obviously we have, you know, guys further down the totem pole who be scouting. Interesting to get an interview with the scout. If anyone out there knows anyone, hey, hit me up. Hit my line. I'm around. Did the Suns get lucky? Every team every year gets lucky. Every playoff team. Every team that makes it to the finals has some sort of luck. The Bucks got lucky, right? Katie's foot was on the line. Every team, there's always a little bit of luck. You know? I think making the finals is a combination of luck, health, and talent. Obviously, talent is the biggest thing, but luck and health should not go unnoticed either. Let's see. Caruso, most overlooked pickup for the Bulls. Media talking about Bulls defense being horrible. They never mention him. Yeah, no, it's totally true. And he's gonna be our sixth man. He's gonna play a lot of minutes. So just keep that in mind. Caruso is going to be a big part of this rotation. Thoughts on Ethan Thompson? Does he have role player potential for us? We were just talking about Ethan Thompson. You might have joined a little late. Ethan Thompson has not shown me a lot, unfortunately. I'd love to be proven wrong in preseason training camp, but so far, I think Ethan Thompson is still a year or two away from being any kind of contributor, potentially at the NBA level. He'll spend a year in the G League most likely, that's fine for a dude his age. I think he has a lot of potential as a dude who can get buckets and play defense. Just not quite this season. It's gonna be a year for him, maybe two. Some guys, it takes them a while to adjust to the mindset of the NBA. When he comes from a smaller program, where, like, you know, he's the guy. He's always the guy playing against worse competition. You kind of have to shake some of those tendencies and learn about team ball, learn about schemes, stuff like that. So I think he has, like, the physical tools for sure, but just want to see more from the mental side of the game from a guy like him. Besides AK, that's where it all starts: scouting players, drafting the stars, and good prospects. Yeah, and player relationships too. You know, forming relationships with agents, with players themselves. And that's kind of what Mark Eversley does. He's more on the relationship side of things. And forming those relationships, like with Clutch Sports, once again, go watch my latest video, allows you to negotiate contracts with, you know, a relationship that is positive and is not adversarial. What's up with Aaron Baines? I don't know, man. I don't want him. Aaron Baines looked cooked last season. Do the Bulls have enough toughness? I would say so. I would say last season they didn't. So this season they went out and got Tony Bradley, Alex Caruso, Derek Jones Jr., a bunch of guys who are super athletic. I think Trey Brown Jr. once again is being overlooked. Dude is tough as nails. Zach is obviously tough as nails. Vooch, you know, we'll see. Patrick Williams, tough as nails. Like, yeah, I think we've increased our toughness, especially by bringing in some of these seasoned vets, these athletic seasoned vets. Stanley Johnson, Derek Jones Jr., Alize Johnson. There's a guy who's tough as nails. Why can't we sign Troy Baxter? We can. We could do it. We could bring him to training camp. When do you think we get footage of the team? You know, they're practicing, so potentially like tomorrow. Like very soon. Because I know, you know, they're all working. I know the boys in the front office and on the digital content team. They're working right now. So I'm sure we'll get something very soon. Are you or anybody in the chat excited about Simonovic? Of course. My excitement about Marko Simonovic, I feel like, has been well established and documented. I just think that he's another guy who's probably like a year away. You know, he's a guy who has shown you a lot of potential, but physically needs to work on some things, needs to get stronger, needs to get an NBA diet, and, you know, get some time in the league under his belt. Coming from a totally different brand of basketball. I mean, the ball size is different. The length of the three-pointer is different. Like, all kinds of things are just different from where Marko Simonovic is coming from. So just an adjustment period, you know? Who showed you the most from Summer League? I loved what I saw from Pat, for sure. But, you know, like, Pat, we know Pat. So I feel like I saw what I expected from Pat because I expected greatness. You know what I mean? Like, I expected Pat. I probably said this back in, like, I don't know, May. When Pat gets to Summer League, he should dominate because he is an adult. Look at the guy. He looks like he's 30. Like, of course he should dominate these kids coming out of college. Do you like the series run with us? Absolutely. Without a doubt. But back to the question. Who showed you most from Summer League? I would argue that a guy like Ayo Dosunmu. I loved what I saw from Ayo Dosunmu. Devon Dotson. I love what I saw from Devon Dotson. You know, Marko Simonovic. I loved what I saw from him too. I mean, all these guys, like, it's Summer League, right? So you're looking for things that are independent to each player, right? You're not looking for a guy who's going to come in and be a superstar. You're looking for, okay, did this guy play within the offense well? Did this guy hit his open shots? Was he aggressive? You know, was he looking for the open man? And I think Marko Simonovic, like, maybe more of all of them, Marko Simonovic showed me a lot of things to feel really excited about. I missed a couple questions here. How many minutes do you predict for Ayo? He's not going to play unless it's garbage time, unfortunately. Maybe at the beginning of the season while Kobe White is still recovering. But, you know, we're talking like 10 minutes at most. Like, we're not talking about a heavy usage guy. Marko hopefully has some toughness. You know what? Marko has the right mindset. Marko is aggressive. He's got the right aggressive mindset. Bro just needs to bulk up a little bit. He needs to look the part. I think mentally he's got the part, but now he needs to look the part too. Yeah, that dunk on everybody mindset. I need for people to stop writing off Kobe White. Yeah, he'll definitely be important. We just talked about that. If he comes back strong, healthy, you know, his shot is still there. It was his non-shooting shoulder that got injured, thankfully, but, you know, that still affects the shot mechanics. You know, you look at Alex Caruso just being the perfect complement to him in the backcourt. Do you think Ayo will play in the G League at all? Yeah, I do. I do think he will. That's just kind of the nature of being a rookie on a team that suddenly is kind of stacked. You know, it just kind of happened all of a sudden. You know, like, ideally the rotation is only like 9-10 man, at most. You know, if you're going 11, 12 deep, like, you got some problems. So those minutes are going to be coming at a premium. And when Kobe White's back, Kobe White, once again, let's go back to Kobe White for just another second. Kobe White this offseason lost his starting job, right? Last season, Kobe White came into the season as the starting point guard. He's coming into this season having lost his job. He has something to prove, man. Kobe White has something to prove, and he's going to go out there and try to prove it. Tony Bradley is a great pickup. Yeah, I want Io to play, man. Like, I want him to get some minutes against NBA level competition. Missed a couple. Trey Baxter. You know, man, I love him. Umar, I'm with you, man, but I don't know. I mean, I guess they just didn't see enough of him to bring him back. Lonzo's game. Yes, sir. Lonzo has improved his game every year that he's been in the league. I don't expect that to change right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep that thing going. Yeah, people are hating on the Bulls because they see us out there making moves, bro. I mean, that's just what happens when you make moves. People get jealous. Knicks fans got a little jealous. Celtics fans got a little jealous. Gorov, what's up, homie? Bulls making the Western Conference Finals. The Bulls are going to be so good this season that they're going to win the finals, and then they're going to hop over to the other side of the bracket. They're going to start beating those teams. They're going to go through the East, and they're going to hop over the bracket and start going through the West. Yeah, man. A lot of guys with chips on their shoulders. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, guys who've been called empty stats throughout their career. Lonzo Ball, guy who's been doubted in his young career. Just a lot of guys who have a lot to prove, I would say. Bull starters versus reserves. Hey, you guys want to talk about Celtics? Celtics fans? Come on, bro. They're corny as fuck. They're really weird. They really act weird. Right? Like, Celtics fans just act fucking weird. Try to leave it at that. There's weird on Twitter. They're scary and intense and sometimes racist. And yeah, just don't like interacting with them. Investigation news. Nothing, bro. It's been a while and we haven't heard anything. It's crazy. Yeah, they're racist most of the time. Yeah, bro. I don't know what's going on with the investigation. I want to know just as much as you do. Do we still have the trade exception for Tice, or did we use it in one of the recent trades? I believe we still have that. Yeah, where's Washbum? The investigation never happened. Yeah, no, I think we still have the trade exception, right? We never used it. Because we ended up signing Alize Johnson outright. We ended up signing Stanley Johnson outright. And the trade for Derek Jones Jr. Was the Lauri Markkanen salary. Yeah, bro, other teams being in their feelings about the Bulls. Go ahead, complain. Bitch and moan. Say that we'll be the 9th seed. Okay. It's adorable. It's adorable how mad they are. Bulls are going to be the 9th. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Ninja. It was a good time. Have a good night. What games am I going to go to? I'm working on that. Pre-sales tomorrow, as I'm sure a bunch of you guys know. I got to figure out some of my trade or my travel plans. I'd like to be there for opening night. Just say that. I'd like to be there for opening night. But I got a few other games. We'll get to that once I figure all that out. But, you know, tomorrow morning, it's going to be 8 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. Central time. I'm going to wake up at 8 a.m. ready to go for the pre-sale. Arturis, your team sucks. Major D. Have you been to Portillo's? Lonzo, say less. Bro, Portillo's. Miss it. Portillo's is bomb. What's up, Reg Johns? How we doing? Facebook watcher. I always wonder how I enter the algorithm on Facebook, because I don't promote on Facebook at all. Sometimes it'll just shoot me into the algorithm and I'll get a bunch of viewers from Facebook. And more the merrier. You guys are all welcome. I don't promote on Facebook at all, so it's always interesting when that happens. Who would you like to see on an 8-man rotation? That's an interesting question. So obviously, you know, you're starting 5. Probably Alex Caruso, Tony Bradley, and Troy Brown Jr. Because that gives you a good amount of front court depth, wing depth, and guard depth. And I think Alex Caruso as a shooter is a bit underrated. Antoine thinks that Laurie is going to ball out for Cleveland. Hey, you know, if he does, it's fine. It's whatever, bro. We got a trade return for him. We got a first-round pick out of that trade. It's fine, you know? It doesn't bother me. And I don't think he was going to be good with us anyway. You know what I mean? Denzel's stat line in Cleveland? DNP. NBA breakdown. What's up, man? Future videos you have planned. I've got a lot. And I know I probably shouldn't. I'm not supposed to share trade secrets. But it's a pretty small group in here tonight. Yeah, I'll tell you a couple things. So I'm working on more film breakdowns for the Superfan Club for sure. If you guys aren't familiar, $4.99 a month gets you exclusive videos, early access to videos, all kinds of cool perks on YouTube with the Superfan Club. That's just film breakdowns, things I can't upload for the main channel, behind the scenes, that kind of cool stuff. So definitely check that out. I have a bunch of stuff planned for that. I'm going to do a Tony Kukoc video. He just got, enshrined into the Hall of Fame. I wanted to go through some of his career highlights. I'm going to do a breakdown on Lonzo, DeMar, and we've already done a bunch on Zach and Alize Johnson, Marko Simonovic. Yeah, so there's cool stuff up there. Let's see, what else? I have a video planned about the history of the playoff atmosphere at the United Center, and I have a really cool soundbite that I'm going to be using for that. But the history of what it's like to play at the United Center in the playoffs, and why it's such a special place for players, and why it's going to be amazing that it's finally back. Do you live stream for Bulls games? Yeah, we're going to do post games. I don't know if I'll be able to do a post game every game, but we're going to do post games for sure. And then, just sprinkle in the podcast here and there. I'm bringing the podcast back. I know I've neglected the podcast for too long, but we're going to do like previews and breakdowns and stuff on the podcast. So I promise you, in Arturis We Trust, the podcast is coming back, though it might be under a new name. We'll see. I'd trade Kobe in a first for John Wall. Nah, bro. No, you wouldn't. Come on, Aiden. Quit trolling. Trade Kobe in a first for John Wall? We can't even afford John Wall. John Wall's making more than Zach. I don't want John Wall because of the contract. The age doesn't really bother me. His game doesn't really bother me, though. His game doesn't really fit what the Bulls are doing right now. Like, you guys, like, really, I want you guys to realize, hey, Immortal Goofy, what's up? Welcome to the Superfan Club. What I really want you guys to know, and what I think I'll do for the Superfan Club breakdown of DeMar DeRozan's game, guys, DeMar DeRozan is like perfect for what the Bulls are trying to do right now. A guy like John Wall would totally ruin everything that we have built on this team. The idea is versatility, switchability, flexibility. See that? Good at that. DeMar DeRozan, I mentioned this earlier, has the highest drive rate of any non-guard in the NBA, which means he is consistently driving the lane and was one of the best wide open mid-range shooters in all of basketball last season. One of the best wide open shooters in all of basketball, period. But in the mid-range, he's especially deadly, which means he can break down the defense and kick the ball out to guys like Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, who are knockdown three-point shooters. There are so many different stats related to playmaking and then three-point shooting revolving around DeMar DeRozan's playmaking and Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, and Lonzo Ball's three-point shooting abilities that really, and I should put them down all on paper so you guys can see them. But it's really crazy how much DeMar DeRozan is going to open the offense for these other guys. Please just trust me, and I'll break it down more in depth when I have the numbers in front of me. Just trust me when I say it's a almost perfect match. I'd say the only thing that would make it perfect completely is if DeMar DeRozan were a better three-point shooter, but it is what it is. The way it is constructed right now, offensively, is such a perfect match. Defensively, we're going to have to make some adjustments mid-game to make sure that we're putting out our best defensive lineups. That's on Billy Donovan. Let's see what else. Put the vape down and praise God. Is it illegal to vape on Twitch? I feel like it might be. Maybe I should stop. Damn. Right, super important in the playoffs. You know, the whole choking thing with DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's never played with a guy like Zach LaVine. You know? DeMar DeRozan has... Kyle Lowry was obviously great. I'm not going to take anything away from Kyle Lowry, but like... DeMar DeRozan's never played with Zach LaVine. It's so different. So different. Was Lonzo good for 4 to 5 threes per game? I don't remember if it was 4 to 5. It might be slightly lower than that. But once again, we're talking about a guy who was top 10 in the NBA on catch and shoot threes. Kawhi re-signed, unfortunately. We will not be getting Kawhi. And you know what? If they don't want to be a part of this, they want to go re-sign with their fruity little LA teams. LA teams that are soft and take games off. He don't want to be a part of this anyway. He doesn't got the right mindset. Patrick Williams, on the other hand, Patrick Williams got the mindset. Patrick Williams doesn't take a night off. So Patrick Williams this season, listen, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid hard for a second. Everybody ready? Get ready for a little bit of Kool-Aid, because I'm about to throw some Kool-Aid at you real quick. If Patrick Williams takes the leap that I think personally he has in him in the next couple of seasons, you know, I don't know if it'll happen this season, the season after that, but in the next few seasons, Patrick Williams has the potential to become a legitimate star in this league. If every player in our starting five is a star, and Patrick Williams, once again, has the potential, I believe, to become a superstar, defensive player of the year potential already, just at his young age, at 20 years old, defensive player of the year potential, with all of these new offensive weapons, getting wide open looks from three, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. If he does that, we are legitimately one of the best teams in the NBA. So I know I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit hard, but Patrick Williams is the key to all of this, man. If P. Will takes off like I know he can, easy money, bro. Easy money. That's number 7. That's number 7 and number 8, maybe. Zion will be a free agent one day. I'm just saying. Patrick Williams is that dude. I like the Kool-Aid. Y'all know I like the Kool-Aid a little bit. Aiden was one of the only people that actually liked Patrick Williams as their first round pick. Hey, I was there too. I wasn't hating on it. Patrick needs the ball more.
Wow, bro.
Hey.
That's crazy. That's so love, bro.
Thank you for the donation. What do you think about Matt Thomas? Personally think he's an incredible shooter, proven in the NBA. Would like to see him on the roster, although spots are kind of solidified at this point. Join the Super Fan Club. Cheers. Thank you so much for joining the Super Fan Club. You, sir, are greatly, greatly appreciated. And yes, I actually had Matt Thomas getting our last two-way slot. So I have Matt Thomas coming in as the next two-way slot next to Devon Dotson, splitting time between the NBA and the G League for the Bulls this season, with the potential, you know, knock on wood, hopefully no injuries, but with the potential to get called up should the Bulls need him. So yeah, I'm totally with you. I like Matt Thomas. I think he is a proven scorer, and I would just like to keep him in the building, kind of, you know, just to see what we've got there, to see if he can keep developing those skills, and maybe carve out an NBA roster slot for himself. We need to be talking to Zion every day. We got in trouble last time we did that. Maybe, actually, we don't know. Maybe we didn't get in trouble last time we did that. Yeah, bro, Patrick Williams is like, I just cannot overstate how hyped I am for his potential. Patrick Williams, bro, sky's the limit. The limit is the roof. What is it? The ceiling is the roof. The roof is the ceiling. Whatever nonsense Michael Jordan was spitting. Matt Thomas over Ethan Thompson for the two-way. Yeah, I think so. I think Ethan Thompson's going to be a straight-up G League contract, unfortunately. You know, just for a season. Maybe the Bulls offer him a G League contract. You don't know. No way to know. We will see what happens in training camp and preseason. That will be the determining factor for a lot of this stuff. Oh, does anyone remember how much we fed Wendell Carter Jr.? Yeah, we tried to get Wendell involved. We did. I think it's unfair to say that we gave up on Wendell. I don't think the Bulls ever gave up on Wendell. Now, you know, there were some mental roadblocks for him. You know, just was never going to be a good shooter. We tried our best. I think that being in Orlando is a good change of scenery for him. I think he needs the confidence boost of a team that really believes in him. Because, you know, you got to look at it like, you fire Garpax, AK and Mark Eversley come in to the Bulls, and it's not like, oh, this is our guy. We drafted him. We're ready to build around him. They come in with the mindset of like, well, show us something. We need to know that you're worth keeping. And obviously didn't show enough. And some guys don't respond to that kind of energy well. And he's, I think, one of the types of guys that needs to be on a team that like is committed to making him great. So we'll see. He hit like 4, yeah. When is training camp? Training camp will start pretty shortly here, because our first preseason game is October 5th. Pretty sure training camp opens in a week or two. Let's see. September 28th. Two weeks on the dot. Nice one. Yeah, Wendell has stone hands. Yeah, man, just not a soft touch in the paint. Not really his game on offense necessarily, but he needs one. Defensively, he's sound. But offensively, you know, a lot to work on there. I think Wendell will benefit from playing with better guards. You know, it's almost kind of sad. Like, he probably would have benefited really, really well from playing with a guy like DeRozan or Lonzo Ball, but is what it is. You know, honestly, it's more DeRozan than Lonzo. Lonzo doesn't drive the lane like that. But, you know, with DeRozan's ability to collapse the defense, tossing up lobs to a guy like Wendell. But, you know, with the soft hands thing we just talked about, those are things that he'll have to develop. I wanted to keep Gafford. Yeah, you know, cost of doing business. We wanted Troy Brown Jr. And now with Tony Bradley coming off the bench, I think we've upgraded that spot. I'm going to sneeze. I muted it. I got it. I muted it before I sneezed. Clutch. Gafford was high energy. He played like he wanted you to hate him. Yeah, man, I love Gafford's energy for sure. I still think we upgraded that position, but yeah, Gafford's a good one. Gafford's a good one. Wish we kept Thad and Garrett Temple. You know, as much as I was a huge champion of Temple, not really necessary with DeRozan coming in. DeRozan is going to do everything we asked Garrett Temple to do, but way better, except play defense, I guess. And that's where losing Thad hurts particularly. But I think Patrick Williams is gonna slide into that kind of mold of Thad Young. I know we've talked a lot about Kawhi Leonard being the goal for Patrick Williams. I actually think it's more of a Thad Young kind of player who can protect the rim, who can pass the ball well, and Pat's a better three-point shooter. And obviously defensively, you know, they're able to switch out from the perimeter and on the interior. So I think that Pat, and I know I don't stop talking about it. Pat has the ability to be maybe even a Draymond Green kind of player. Just a defensive menace that can stretch the floor on offense as well. Prime Draymond, that is. Which three-guard combo do you like in our roster? That's another good question. If Kobe's healthy, I do like the idea of going Kobe, Lonzo, Zach, Pat, giving DeMar some rest, going like heavy three-point shooting. But if you want to go like gauntlet, you could do Caruso, Lonzo, Zach. I like the idea also of maybe sprinkling an Io. So as like a bench lineup, you could maybe go Kobe, Io, Caruso. And like that's a good balance of defense and offense. Wes Matthews, Tyler Johnson be a good fit. Mike Scott. I'm a little hesitant on Mike Scott. I like those other names you brought up. Do you think we overpaid for DeMar? No, I don't. I have a whole video about this, but no. I mean, okay. Actually, I should rephrase. We did overpay for DeMar, but that's not a bad thing. We gave him a little bit higher than market value in order to get him in Chicago. You know, like it was not really a bidding war, but more of like a, you know, a situation where he wanted a certain amount of money and we were ready to give it to him because he wanted it and we wanted him in Chicago. And also just the fact that we're reminding the NBA, the Bulls are back, baby. The Bulls are a place where you can go to get paid and win games. And what do NBA players love more than getting paid and winning games? That's it. Those are the only two things they like, pretty much. Some of them try to rap, DeMar DeRozan including, but they like cash and checks and winning games, and bitches too. But you overpay a little bit to show the league that you're for real and to secure the guy on your team. That's why I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it. What's up, Bailey? Might wrap it up here in a bit. Let's get in some final questions. Get in some final questions here. Yeah, because I gotta go start dinner. Supper, as they say in the Midwest. I personally would look at signing Mars. That's not what he said, man. He said something else. And I don't think, for morale's sake, that's a good idea. Knicks were trying to get in on DeMar. Yeah. The Knicks, DeMar was the Knicks' first option before Fournier. So we got the guy the Knicks wanted. I don't know why they make so many jokes, dude. Knicks fans are funny though. Like Knicks fans are not like as vile as Celtics fans. Knicks fans are just funny because they're just so brain dead sometimes, and I think they know it too. I think it's kind of a shtick that they lean into. Celtics fans are just aggressive. They're very aggressive. So yeah, we're moved off the Myers Leonard stuff. And don't throw the slur in chat. I'm Jewish, guys. Don't do that. What's up, Ken? Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Caruso will bring much needed toughness. Yes, sir. Championship experience, super important. DeMar DeRozan brings a lot of playoff experience. Obviously, Caruso is the winner on the roster, but a lot of playoff experience between Caruso, DeRozan. Even Vooch has a little bit of playoff experience, not a whole lot, but it's so important to have that on your roster. Let's see. What's up with this Ben Simmons situation? I don't know, man. I honestly thought that like a couple months ago, my thought process was, oh, he'll be back with the Sixers. There's no way. Like, it's just a reactionary thing to the end of the playoffs. The way that they exited the playoffs was very dramatic and emotional. Like, they just need some time to cool down, and he'll be back. Now it's like he's gonna hold out, and I don't see anyone trading for him. I feel like what's probably going to end up happening is maybe similar to like the Jimmy Butler situation, where they might just get like a lowball trade and have to take it because it's an untenable situation. People want to trade for Ben Simmons. You know, I don't like the contract with our need to re-sign Zach LaVine next offseason, but I will say as a player, I don't dislike the guy. I really do think he's overhated, you know, because of his deficiencies that were glaring, and they're glaring. They're bad. But it's still a guy who's got plenty of, like, an all NBA defender, and plenty of potential as a facilitator on offense. But, you know, having DeMar DeRozan already makes him redundant. Like, you can't put DeRozan and Ben Simmons in the same lineup. It's just not going to work. I guarantee you it's not going to work. See, is it confirmed no tampering? Nothing's been confirmed yet. We don't have a firm update on that situation, fortunately. Hey, Ricky's gonna be at the first game in Detroit. Very cool. That'll be fun. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a special season. Feeling it's gonna be a pretty special season, guys. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a fun opening weekend, too. We're going to play the Pistons again at home on Saturday night, following the Friday night game against the Pelicans. Dunmilla's putting a trade in chat that I'm not sure I get. 3-team trade? Well, anyway, guys, I'm starving. I have not had dinner yet. It is a great time for me to go get dinner. I've answered some questions. This has been a really fun time hanging out. Gonna try to do these a little more consistently and keep you guys in the loop with new content, all that fun stuff. $4.99 a month is the Super Fan Club. You get exclusive videos, early access to videos, all kinds of crazy fun stuff. Jeffrey asks, when's our toughest stretch? I believe it's in March. It's either March. Yeah, it's probably March. Go check out the schedule. I believe it's in March. But yeah, like I said, $4.99 a month for the Super Fan Club. All kinds of really cool content on YouTube. First game is against the Detroit Pistons. And that was what? If the first home game is the 22nd of October, the first game is the 20th. So thank you guys again for watching. Arturo'sFanClub.com/shop for the merch. If you want to get like a mug or a tumbler or a shirt, all of that support, the Super Fan Club, the merch, even the donations here on Twitch and YouTube, those things help me immensely and help me grow my channel. So I cannot express how appreciative I am if you guys were willing to yeah, get something cool. Get something cool for your mama. There's a bunch of really cool stuff on Arturo'sFanClub.com/shop. But thank you guys for chatting tonight. This has been so much fun as always. I'm at Arturo's Fan Club on all platforms, and we will talk very soon. I think. I mean, I have a video planned. You know what? I'll leave it as a surprise. I'll leave you guys with a